the political capital of Africa, Addis Ababa has finalized its preparations to cordially welcome the esteemed guests and distinguished participants of the 2024 AU Summit, featuring participants from virtually every country on the continent of Africa. And EBC World will keep you posted on the latest, so make sure you stay tuned. Greetings, D viewers. Welcome to EBC World with me, Shifara Olako, and thank you for watching us. As Ethiopia, the first and only nation to quash colonial aggression, prepares to inaugurate the Adwa Victory Museum, the return of its homemade plane named Sahai sends a sweet smell of victory in our nostrils, according to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The premier made the remark in his social media message dubbed Sahai in her country. The premier said the homecoming of the plane will magnify the victory on the eve of the inauguration of the Adwa Victory Museum. Ethiopia's historic aircraft Sahai has been placed at the Adwa Victory Museum and is open to visitors. Sitting right next to the municipality, the museum awaits its official inauguration on Sunday. It is to be recalled that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who traveled to Rome for the Italy-Africa Summit, officially received the airplane from the Italian government. Sahai, which arrived in Addis Ababa yesterday, is now placed at the historic Adwa Victory Memorial Museum, where visitors will have the opportunity to see it. Ethiopian ambassadors across various countries emphasized that the Adwa Victory Memorial Project is not only significant for Ethiopia, but it also represents a symbol of pride and triumph for the entire African continent. According to Ethiopia's ambassador to the U.S., Seleshi Bekele, the Adwa Victory has made Ethiopia a source of pride for the entire black community. Meanwhile, Ethiopia's ambassador to Pakistan, Jamal Bakar, stated that Adwa's victory empowered Ethiopia to combat oppression and serve as a voice for the black globally. State Minister for Finance Samaretta Swasu discussed with the head of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs OCHA Country Office for Ethiopia, Paul Handley. The discussion focused on humanitarian situation and development priorities in Ethiopia, as well as the way forward in mobilizing resources for conflict and climate change affected populations in the country. For his part, Paul Handley reaffirmed the commitments of OCHA to support the government of Ethiopia in its effort to mobilize additional resources to address the current humanitarian needs for conflict and climate change affected communities in the country. He also underlined the need to strengthen the food aid and cash transfer mechanisms to channel resources to the needy population efficiently and effectively. It was also underlined that crisis response activities should be aligned with sustainable development endeavors to assist communities in strengthening their capacities and resilience building. That's according to the Finance Ministry.
Boulevard here, Liberation Avenue. Even though the Italians have been out for 45 years now, it's unbelievable how well preserved their influence remains. The colonial architecture brings me right back to Florence or Milano. When you see that building behind me, you really think you're in Europe, but we are in Africa. There are pizza and pasta restaurants galore, cafes to serve you tasty cappuccinos. Wow, that looks amazing. Gelato, gelato, gelato. The bicycle culture to get from point A to point B. The super old Italian cars everywhere on the roads.
Earlier it was freezing cold. Now it's pretty much perfect. Sunny out with the breeze off. I had to guess they sell coffee right here. Maybe, maybe not. And pass. Yeah, and everyone, hey, I need to get a bike.
Salam. How are you?
Yeah, very romantic. They have the couple there. Yeah. No one will see what you guys do. Oh, guys, the food just came.
Welcome back. You're still watching EBC World. Now moving on, the chair of the Peace and Foreign Relations Standing Committee with the Parliament said implementing the Ethio-Somaliland MOU is important for the development and security of the region. Talking to the Ethiopian news agency, the chair, Dima Nago, underlined that Ethiopia's foreign policy prioritizes collaborative endeavors for mutual prosperity and resource utilization with neighbors. In this regard, Somalia, which is a long coastline in Africa, holds immense potential for shared development that benefits both Ethiopia and Somalia. The former Brigadier General Kasai Chameda also underscored that the Ethio-Somaliland Memorandum of Understanding would play a crucial role in bolstering regional development and security. He added that Ethiopia should strengthen its peacekeeping commitment in neighboring Somalia. And finally, moving to continental news, violent protests have roiled Senegal since President Macky Sall abruptly called off a planned election at the weekend, with just 3 weeks to go before the high-stakes vote. The crisis puts one of West Africa's most stable democracies to the test, at a time when the region faces democratic backsliding and a surge in military coups. Senegal's parliament voted on Monday to delay the country's presidential election until December 15, 2 days after President Sall stunned the nation of 18 million people by calling off a planned February 25 vote. The bill adopted by the National Assembly effectively extends Sall's 12-year tenure, which was due to end on April 2. And the controversial move marks the first time a Senegalese election is postponed since the introduction of multi-party democracy in 1974. Meanwhile, West African foreign ministers gathered in the ECOWAS are holding emergency talks in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, to discuss the political crisis in Senegal and disputes with military rulers in 3 other member states. Well, dear viewers, you have been watching EBC World. Now a quick recap of the top stories. The homecoming of Ethiopia's plane said to constitute double victory. And Senegal's democratic record on the line as presidential vote delay sparks crisis. Well, viewers,